Howdy y'all, I'm Paint That Bell, and today instead of doing Fan Art Friday, I thought I would be doing an OCs drawing. I mean, I guess it could be considered as fan art, right? Maybe? But I asked a couple people on my Facebook group on some OCs I could draw, and I came up with a bunch of list of results. Now I had to pick randomly, and I wanted to do more OCs from different people in this video, but since one person submitted so many OCs in one drawing and they were the one that was randomly picked, I had to draw 6 OCs in one drawing, which was a challenge in and of itself, but fun at the same time. I've already started with the flat colors right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and tell you what I did. First off, before I started doing the recording of the OCs, I wanted to just ink it and sketch it first because, quite honestly, this video is over 18 minutes, and that was like 3 hours of work, over 3 hours of work easy just doing the shading itself, which it took a while, but it was fun. And as you can see here, these are the OCs I had to work with. I don't know the characters' relationship to themselves, I don't know their age, I don't know much about their height or any of that. I just know a little bit of what they look like. And since I don't know much, I thought it would be fun to get them all together as like maybe friends. Yeah, even if they are enemies, I thought it would be a nice touch because I don't know their relations to each other. I don't know much about their relations to each other at all. So I just experimented there. I wanted to keep some of them a relatively same height because I didn't know their heights, except for maybe the guy being a bit taller. But the guy could be a little kid or even short, so sorry if I got that wrong. And I thought the little girl here was a little girl because it looked like she was wearing a school uniform, so I wanted her to look like a little girl. And this, to me, the characters feel more of like a magical fantasy sort of feel. Because, come on, one of them has bat wings. How is that not fantasy? I thought all the characters were really amazingly designed, and they were just so much fun to try and capture. And for each character, I tried to capture their personality. Like the one with bat wings, since she's wearing a flirty dress, I thought she would have a little bit more of an attitude to her. The one with the moon on her forehead seemed to me like a gentle, soft spirit, but I wanted her to look a bit more serious because to me she felt a little bit more serious. So I tried to keep her a little bit neutral in the expression. And the one next to her is supposed to be like sad, I think, from the drawing, but I wanted her to look happy. She deserves some happiness. And for this one, with the pink shirt, Anna, her name is, I couldn't tell if she was a little girl or not. I was debating on that because she could be a little girl in her PJs, or it could be an older lady wearing a shirt that sort of looks like PJs. Or it could not be PJs at all, so I don't know. But she was fun to do. I loved doing her hair. Hair is one of my most favorite things to do. And it looks like she had like auburn style hair. All in all, I think it's amazing. And here I believe the character's name is Liam. In the picture he looked like a little kid, but I can't tell. It's chibi style, so he could be older. So I went with an older variant anyway, and to me he looked tired. He looked tired and defeated, so I tried to show that through the artwork. by adding like little lines under his eyes. Those are tired lines. Like under circles. That's what they're called. Under circles. Woohoo! And looking back, I forgot to add freckles to Anna. The one with the pink shirt. Oops. Doing the little kid was also really fun because it was fun trying to do like the little tassels that are longer than the rest of her hair. Kind of reminds me of a Japanese anime. Just a bit. All in all, however, these are really great designed characters, and I love the style that the person who made them, I love the style that they went for together, the chibi style. It was really cool, really cute. Added a sort of innocence to their look. Even if one of them was wearing a flirty dress, she still looked innocent. Now, moving on to the shading, it was really fun and interesting to try and shade the white girl's hair. Or, well, I mean the girl's white hair. I'm so sorry. Oh, try to shade the girl's white hair. Good grief. And if you see me doing anything weird with the skin, that's only because I'm blending it in first and then adding it layer by layer with the skin. And I thought it would, it's sort of what I tend to do with skin on Corel Painter Essentials 5. That's the program I'm using. And it's sort of what I have been using recently for more, how do you put it, refined drawings? There. Other than Animal Jam's Art Studio program, which while it's a really good program considering it's a free kids game, and most of it focuses on like teaching kids about animals and stuff like that. Or just making friends safely, mind you, it's very safe. The art program has very little to it on Animal Jam. But if you know their tricks and tips and how to work it, you can make some incredible things. Though it takes a lot longer. Unless you don't know what you're doing in Corel Painter Essentials 5, it takes a lot longer. And I know enough of this program to at least get the ins and outs of it fairly decently. I won't say I'm an expert. I can English. I won't say I'm an expert by any means for digital art, but I know at least a few things about it. I'm much better at traditional artwork. And for the lighting here, the lighting was coming from like the right side at an angle, and with lighting it's important to remember that light is very directional indeed. You have the, so when you think of a direction, it will always fall on whatever it is you're trying to draw in a certain direction, no matter what. And with shading, you have to remember, okay, is this object in front of this object, then it's going to create quite a bit of shadow. Or is it farther away from the light source? How strong is my light source? Because the light source strongness, I'm just going to call it that, the light source strongness, hope y'all don't mind, light source strongness does define how much shadows you have in your drawing. And it's really hard to tell sometimes how much strong you want your lighting until much later when you look at it and it's like, okay, how strong should my light be? That way I know how strong my shadows should be and what direction my lighting is coming from. And it's important to know how light affects skin and all of that. Up next, I'm working on the girl with the moon on her head. I forget what her name is. Oh goodness, what's her name? It'll come to me later. But with her skin, it was a bit more difficult than the girl with the white hair skin. With the white hair girl. There. It was a lot harder with that one because she was a bit more shadow than the girl with the white hair. The girl with white hair is a bit more forward, and the girl with the moon on her head is a bit more backward, if that makes any sense. She's farther away from the quote-unquote camera. She's behind the girl with the white hair, so yeah. That would create a bit more shadow and less light. And I noticed that at least 3 characters had black clothing, and 2 of them had black hair. I mean, it looks good. It was just interesting to try and do because with black you have to include a lot of black, and you also have to include some strong highlights if you want a strong light source. So that was interesting. Moving on, I'm finishing up the girl with the moon on her forehead and moving on to the one that's supposed to be sad, but I drew happy. Now this one, she's supposed to be heavily shaded because she's behind 2 people. So that would include quite a bit of shading. But still at the same time, when I finished her, I thought there should be a bit more highlight or something else because I wasn't quite pleased with the skin tone on this one or shading. It just looked a little bit muddy. And I'm working on the muddiness on skin, but from what I've seen, well, from what I know rather, there's a bunch of there's a bunch of colors in skin. There can be green, blue, purple, a lot of pink in skin because it's flesh. But a color that you can think is, any color that you can think is probably going to be in skin. But I would not recommend using black because that will really make your drawing look muddy. And from what I know, to avoid muddy skin tones is you can't, well you can, but to avoid muddy skin tones, you really should avoid using a lot of browns and what you would consider to be fleshy skin, or fleshy colors rather, my bad. And you have to use a bunch of other colors instead. Which is all in good, and that's what I've tried to do with a bunch of them, but yeah, this one looks a little bit muddier. Maybe it's my blending technique, maybe it's something else, I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know. I would love to know how to avoid that. In traditional art, I don't have that problem with muddy skin typically. So I wonder why digitally it's different. Anyway, if you guys like this skin, please let me know. Maybe I'm just being too critical because you are your own worst critic. Moving on from the 3rd character, I move on to the one in the pink shirt, Anna. And she was interesting to try and draw, mostly because for some strange reason I had to fix a patch of white on her shirt and draw it on a different layer, which produced problems when I tried to blend it. I don't know why it did that. But in any case, this character was fun to do in a sense that it was fun to try to do those folds, and the hair was so much fun. It was so cool. And I also tried to see what it would look like with all of the line art that I love doing. I love doing line art. I wanted to see what it would look like without it. Good grief, I'm glad there's line art. It's so awful without it. Ugh. Doing the face, I wanted to not do the mistake I did with the last one and add a bunch of pink to the skin. Maybe a little bit less brown and a bit more pink to make the skin look more like real skin and not muddy skin tones. Hi, Toby. Finishing up this one, I add in a bunch of lighter colors to the hair and darker colors just to create some contrast, and I move on to Liam. Now, since Liam is closer to the light source, he would have the strongest light on reflecting off the skin. So I tried to do that by adding a bunch of the yellow that I had before and just really put in the light source and not as much shadows as the rest of them. Because good grief, that would not look right. Moving on to the hair, I had pale hair at first, but I thought he should look a bit more brown, not brown, a bit more blonde. There we go. And I wanted the light to really reflect off his hair. Moving on from Liam, I'm doing the last and final character. I don't recall what her name is, but she's really cute. I really love doing this one. I thought of an innocent little kid expression, and this character, since she's like beneath all of, or shorter than all of them, and a couple of them are staying over them, the light source on her would be on top of her head mostly, and be on a little bit on her face, just a bit, so that it's more or less noticeable, I suppose. But anyways, this drawing, or rather OC drawing challenge, is about to come to an end. So finishing this up, I would like to thank y'all for coming to watch my video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I'll see y'all in the next video. Oh, no, wait. I'll have to do that again. But, finishing up the drawing, let me know if you guys want to see more of this. I plan on doing OC's drawings at least once a month, and maybe add more OCs from different people, and not like 6 OCs from one person in one drawing, because that takes so long. But fun to do. If you want more of the OCs, please let me know. If you like the video, please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing, and clicking the bell for notifications to see when I upload next. Alright, bye-bye!